Welcome to our Thriving Talk with Karen series. Are you trying to follow a specific diet but struggling to find the right ingredients and finding yourself spending unwanted hours in the kitchen creating new and long recipes? Here to share her experience with how Thrive Life freeze dried foods can make this all easier is our guest and Thrive Life consultant, Melanie Rose. Hi, Melanie. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks. Nice to be here, Karen.
Great. Well, I'm so glad you're here. I know a lot of people struggle with diets in general, and it can be very overwhelming. Now, if you think about incorporating a whole different type of food, a freeze-dried food that Thrive Life offers, it might seem a little overwhelming, but actually it could really help them and make it easier. Can you tell us a little bit about you and why you chose to use Thrive Life foods?
So there are lots of people in our household that have food sensitivities and to different things. Personally, I'm not able to eat anything with gluten. I'm sensitive to milk. I can have it from time to time, but I try to avoid anything with milk. My partner is sensitive to gluten as well. Not as badly as me, but still he can't have eggs, he can't have milk. So, we have various issues in the house. And so whenever I grocery shop, obviously I have to make a lot of things from scratch. Like I can't buy prepared foods. Not that I really want to anyway, but sometimes, you're just tired and you just want to have something quick and easy. And
Yeah.
I can't get a lot of that stuff. Like it has stuff in it that I can't eat or somebody can't eat. So, I wanted to be able to use ingredients where I knew exactly what was going into the food and I could control everything. I wanted a way, we do a lot of camping. I wanted a way to make those quick and easy meals for when we're camping, but that didn't have the garbage that we can't have. So that's essentially why I got into it, was mostly for camping food, to be honest. And then once in a while for, like I said, a really quick weekday meal, you just want to make something fast.
Right. Yeah, very, very helpful for those situations for sure. Now, there are a lot of different types of diets out there. We have keto diets, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, Mediterranean, raw diets, people who are trying to be low carb, eliminate sugar. Nut free is really big, especially in the schools. Dairy free, like you mentioned, gluten free, that's really big, and egg free. One of my kids, when he was young, was allergic to eggs, and that was actually quite a struggle. A lot of people kept trying to give him food when the mom's not looking. And it has egg in it. A lot of things have egg, and well, we've had to have a rush to the hospital because of it. And yeah, and it's a diets are really important, and we're going to talk a little bit about how Thrive Life can really help with that. So if you follow a specific diet, Thrive Life can be a solution for you for sure. So Melanie, with all of these different diets or foods that you needed to eliminate from your family's diet, how did that feel for you, like before you found Thrive?
Well, I just kind of felt like there wasn't a lot of options for what I was looking for. As I said, we do a lot of camping, and camping where we don't necessarily have access to, like unless we drove every single day to get a block of ice. Like I want things to be super simple, a lot of backcountry stuff. And so I just wanted to be able to have food that I didn't need to worry about. And those like super expensive camping meals that you can get at like MEC or like the camping stores, like I couldn't eat any of them. Like none of them really, they all had pasta or milk in them or egg in them. And so it was just impossible. So it was nice to be able to find a company that sold individual ingredients. So I could say like, okay, when I make spaghetti normally in the house, like I use tomatoes, I use ground beef, I use, onions, I use whatever, garlic. And Thrive Life has each of those things individual that I could put in a jar or a bag or however I wanted to package it. And I knew exactly what was going in there. And then I could add my own spices. I could add my own amount of salt if I didn't want to add a ton of salt. And so I just liked the ability to control. And I mentioned it for camping because like I said, I wanted it to be quick and easy. But really, like the food, honestly, when I make it, nobody even knows it's freeze dried. Like we have, a daughter that she, likes it and thinks that it tastes normal. It doesn't taste like mush or like gruel or anything like you'd expect from like freeze dried. Like, oh, it's going to taste like very strange, but it tastes exactly like spaghetti. It's just that you didn't need to cook it as long, and you didn't need to refrigerate it, and you didn't need to chop it and wash it and do all those things. So I use it a lot for camping, but it could just as easily be used regularly in the kitchen for any night when you have soccer practice and you need to get the kids out the door really quickly, or, it's just kids at home are feeling really sick and so are you, and you just don't have a lot of energy and you'd rather not order takeout. And so there's lots of reasons that it's good, but easiness and convenience is a big one. And then, as we're talking about today, the ability to really control what goes in your meals.
Right. And with people on different diets, they want to make sure their ingredients are good quality as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the nice things about Thrive Life freeze-dried foods are they have superior nutrition. They're very, very healthy. In fact, the amount of nutrients in these foods are going to be higher levels than what you will probably find from the food that you pick up from the grocery store. So not only can you be specific with your diet, but you can be confident in the quality of the food that you are getting when you are using Thrive Life freeze-dried foods.
Absolutely. And like, I like that the most of the vegetables are non-GMO, and, I know that they have a very strict process for washing to make sure that there aren't any residual pesticides. Like their quality control is really, really good. And I've never had a product that I've opened and thought that it looked off or strange, or like the vegetables inside are always, they look, once you rehydrate them, they look like they're fresh. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a 40-step process to make sure that the quality and the taste and the texture and everything is very high level. And of course, if something strange does happen to get shipped to you, customer service is always really, really helpful. But the quality is really, really high with this food. So let's talk about some tips and tricks or recipes that have been helpful to you as you've navigated through this challenge of living with a very limited diet and using Thrive Life Foods to help with that.
For sure. So I think my number one tip is, most people like me who have to, eat very specific things and not eat other things are more used to kind of cooking for themselves, right? Like I said, it's harder to get takeout or to get those convenience foods. So I think you'll find that if you're using the same recipes that you would normally use to cook in your home, that you can just substitute Thrive Life for pretty much anything. Like, depending on what it is, you might have to rehydrate a bit first and then drain the water, like if it's a chicken or a meat or something. But, if you're doing a soup, you can just like dump stuff in the pot and it's super easy. So that's the first thing. I would just suggest to use your normal recipes and substitute out the ingredients that you would normally buy at the grocery store with your Thrive Life stuff. The second tip I have is, and I'll kind of share it as part of the recipe I've given to you, but make up some pre-made meals for those days when you need something quick. You can put them in a mason jar. You can put them in a Ziploc. They don't last as long in a Ziploc because they're not quite as airtight, but make them up in a mason jar, keep them in your cool kind of dark cupboard, and they'll last for several months. And then you have a really quick, like this one is like a tortilla taco soup. We bring it camping, but you don't need to bring it camping. You can have it on Monday night before soccer practice.
Right. And so you probably just add liquid to this and let it simmer until you feel like it's all ready, which wouldn't take very long at all.
I think the longest thing in here are the beans. So the instant black beans, I think, take a little bit longer than some of the other things to rehydrate, but you don't even have to use beans. If like this is the thing, like with a lot of recipes, you just use what you need. Like for example, if you're a vegetarian, then don't use chicken in this recipe, but you could still use the beans, right? Or if you don't like beans because you're on a diet that you're not supposed to have the legumes, then don't add the beans. Like if you're using, like I said, your own recipes, chances are you can substitute out anything. But yeah, I really, really enjoy using the ingredients as though they were the same things that I purchased at the store.
Right. Awesome. Well, this is one of your recipes that you shared with us. Thank you for sharing this, Melanie. So this is a tortilla soup. Mm-hmm. So those are the ingredients right there. And like she said, this food is so flexible. So if you have to swap something out or just eliminate something, you can, and you can still make this recipe work for you. And you can make these ingredients work for any of your recipes.
Absolutely. And in this particular recipe, I didn't actually include any seasonings because, again, people have different tastes. And, some people are on low salt and some people don't like spicy. So, with something like this, if you want to add, like I typically might add some like taco seasoning and a little bit of salt, but maybe you just want to add a little bit of salt and pepper and that's enough. Or maybe somebody likes something super spicy, so you can add some chili pepper. So
right.
Honestly, this stuff is so flexible.
That's awesome. That looks like a really good recipe that we'll have to try out. So
you can just to add to this, Karen, like at the end, like you could garnish it by, we have shredded cheese at Thrive. So you could sprinkle some on and have it on the side for the people who can have dairy. And then the people who don't have to use it. Same with this sour cream. You can make up a small amount of it, which is lovely. You don't have to buy a huge tub if there's only one person in your house who can eat milk. You make up a little bit for them, and that's all they need. And that's the nice thing as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you buy a big tub, and then if a lot of people aren't eating it, it's going to go bad, and then you're wasting.
Same with the cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. When people in your household have different diets and they still might want dairy, you can have a little bit of that for some of them easier with this. And I know, like for me in my house, I have people who do bodybuilding, and so they have very strict diets. I have issues where I should eliminate more things than I do, but I know that Thrive Life can help me with that for sure. And then I have little kids still that are pretty picky about a lot of foods, and people who just don't want to eat their vegetables, and it goes on, and it can become really hard to get a meal on the table that everyone can eat. But if you do have a little bit of that sour cream or cheese to the side to make it more pleasant for people who like dairy, or, just have these different options available because of this freeze-dried food, it can make mealtime a lot more pleasant. I think you can get people around the table easier, and that's always so nice to have the family sit together around the table on it. And I kind of feel like that's harder nowadays. But it is a really good thing to be able to bring our families together to eat well. And this is one way to do that. So even if you have a very restricted diet. If you eat food, you can eat Thrive Life food, and Thrive Life food makes it easier for you, and it's super clean. There's no chemicals added in the process of freeze drying. It's just a temperature thing that pulls out the moisture.
No
And
preservatives.
yeah, it's super clean food, so you don't have to worry about that either. So
For
it's
sure. And the thing I wanted to mention, Karen,
Mhm.
is I know that a lot of families have at least one person in the house who might be vegetarian or vegan. And sometimes, like for example, if I wanted to make this chicken tortilla soup, but I had a friend over or someone who didn't want to eat meat, I can make the soup completely vegetarian and then have the chicken on the side without having to like cook it separately. Or like maybe the whole house is vegetarian and you have someone coming over who does want meat because they're like into bodybuilding and you want to make sure they're getting enough protein and whatnot. Then again, it's easy to just get a single serving of meat for that person. And it's not like yucky raw meat that someone would be disgusted to like even look at if they're vegetarian, right? So it can be really good that way. So if you have half the house eating meat and half the house not, well, it makes it super simple.
For sure. Yes, very, very helpful. Well, thank you, Melanie, for sharing with us your insight into how to use Thrive Life foods in a household where there are limited diets. For those who are watching, if you are interested in trying this food to help you with your diets in your home and just to make mealtime easier and quicker, more convenient, save you time in the kitchen, because actually a lot of the recipes, like when I start a new diet, a lot of the recipes take like an hour to make. And you can't be making 3 meals a day that are an hour each with ingredients you're not used to. Like it makes diets really, really difficult. But with Thrive Life, you're using recipes, like you said, that you usually already have, and you're tweaking it to fit your needs and using Thrive Life foods. And it really, really can help. So if you're someone who thinks this food can help you in your diet requirements, in your meal preparation, and can save you time in the kitchen, feel free to reach out to the consultant who invited you to this video. And if you just stumbled across this video, I'm more than happy to help you out, and you can reach out to me as well. If you would like to catch more videos from this Thriving Talk series, be sure to join our Facebook event page. The link is in the description. Or you can subscribe to Thriving Talk with Karen on YouTube. And don't forget to invite anyone who you feel would benefit from this series. Thank you very much, Melanie. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And until next time, bye.
Bye.